oil fields, refineries, and power grids, and other infrastructure if the U.S. strikes again. Once again, this is coming out from Iran. They're putting out this information today that they will strike grids. They will strike all these other infrastructure if we strike again. Now, the FBI, they put out some urgent message that 12 states is now getting hit. Like the water system is getting hit now. I mean, a few days ago it was 7. Now, it's 12, and I do believe the numbers are going to go up. The numbers are going to go up. All right, so also the president seems like he's furious with Pete Hegseth. So the president erupted at Pete Hegseth over the missile shortage, but that's not his fault. That's not his fault. That's not Pete's fault. But again, Pete is the one that gives the green light to fire all these stuff. Telling him he thought the problem has been fixed. Now, 2 people familiar tell the Washington Post that the president confronted his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, on the sidelines at the cabinet meeting, demanding to know why he had apparently been misled about how bare the shelves are. Donald needs to understand, and this is common sense, we've been in war for over 20 years. I mean, ever since 2001, what happened in New York. Again, Bush, Barack, Donald, Biden, and Donald again. We've been in war in Afghan for over 20 years. We've been in war. I don't know who was that. Okay. So, again, Joe sent a whole bunch of stuff to Ukraine. I mean, eventually we're going to run out of certain equipment, so there's a shortage going on. All right, so it says here, Pete Hegseth defended himself and blamed his deputy. So people just pointing finger now for the shortages and for not keeping Donna informed. Now we have, again, this is a very concerning situation here. We have used all our stuff. Now, the only thing we have is nuclear. All right, so the numbers behind the anger are staggering. Now, I did post a video about...
Okay, so I'm going to stop the video there because I dropped it by accident. Okay, so it's Toby O, guys, on Sexbots News channel. Here on TikTok. Go ahead and edit. This is the editor. I'm going to go ahead and you can start another clip here.
Honored again to have Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson on our podcast. Welcome, Colonel. Good to see you, sir. Hello, everybody. This is Paul from Off Grid Desert Farming News with Paul and Adrian, and we are honored again to have Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson on our podcast. Welcome, Colonel. Good to see you, sir.
Good to be with you, Paul.
I want to start out tonight on Russia and Ukraine. It's been reported that Russia launched a massive attack on Kiev. I guess it was yesterday or early this morning, and all the missiles got through, indicating that Ukraine's air defenses are gone. And they said that even some of the strategic bombers and fighter jets were now flying up to the front, dropping bombs, and there was no air defense over Kiev or other parts of Ukraine. Can you comment on that? Is Ukraine's air defenses completely depleted right now?
I think that's a fair assessment. I think it's been a fair assessment now for at least 96 to more hours. And I would say it's been a fair assessment in terms of real Russian superiority for a week or two, if not longer. And it just goes to show you what we have going on right now in Europe, I'm sad to say, is 2 massive psychological warfare campaigns. What's happening on the U.S., NATO, European side is massive lies are being told, and they're being told minutely, hourly, every day. And they're being told, in order to convince not just European and American audiences, which isn't their real target, that the situation is different from what it really is on the ground, but to try and convince Russians that it's different from what is really on the ground. And you know that because more of this is done in Russian than it is in English or German or French or whatever. And it's not working anymore. It was working fairly well. You had the New York Times fooled. Well, I won't say they were fooled. You had them gripped in hysteria. You had the Washington Post and others all reporting that from almost the launch of the special military operation all the way up to the present time, falling off a little bit in the last week or two, that Russia was losing and that Ukraine was winning. I mean, this was the jargon. This was the psychological warfare objective, to convince people of that. And it worked really well in Europe and the United States. It didn't work hardly at all in Russia because Russia knows what's happening. And it knows what's happening because its battlefield intelligence is pretty good. And because, you think, well, this is Russia. Well, what do you mean? They're not lying. By and large, they're not lying to their people. Now, they're conducting a psychological warfare campaign too, but it has the added advantage of being backed up by facts. In other words, Pravda, the truth, is behind it. It's going to be crystal clear. If it's not otherwise, it's going to be crystal clear in the next month or two that Odessa's gone, that the ports next to Odessa are gone, that Ukraine is a rump state, that it has no access to the sea, that it cannot export or import in a significant way except through the many gangs that exist on that coastline. But in terms of commercial profit and loss, it's going to all be lost. Now, the really smart thing for Zelensky to do would be to blow his brains out. Hard to be that graphic, but he's a danger. He's a danger now. He's getting people killed left and right. He's confused his own command structure by getting rid of the defense minister and the top general. He's not any strategist at all. And he needs to take his Bugatti and his beautiful wife and go off to one of his bungalows somewhere. He won't, of course. They'll have to shoot him probably to get rid of him. But he is now aided and abetted by Europeans and us trying to carry on this already lost, dismally lost conflict in Ukraine. And he's just making it terrible for the Ukrainian people. As witness there too, soldiers on the front lines that aren't dead are now coming out of their revetments, out of their foxholes, out of their protection, whatever it might be. Most often it's just a house or something they've chosen to take cover in.
All right. So it looks like we depleted our weapons. Okay, we have no weapons. We help Ukraine. We have no oil. And next there'll be no lights. Okay. I think that's what's going to happen. They're talking about cyber attacking our country. Okay, and the shit is going to hit the fucking fan. They're talking about civil war. Pete Hegseth, come on, man. This goes on and on here, man. This is Rumble, okay? Off-grid desert farming with Paul Mills and a colonel, okay?